everyone, I'm Kaye and welcome back to my channel. So today we are reviewing the Morphe and Pony. That was so, wow, okay. We are reviewing the Morphe and Pony Constellation Sky Palette. When I first saw this, you guys, I was just so drawn to it. First of all, the packaging is just so beautiful and dreamy and everything I didn't know I needed in a palette. You know what I mean? Like, you almost want it on display. It's so beautiful. So excited to review it for you guys. I will let you know all of my final thoughts. I have all of the products linked down below in the description, so if I miss anything, it's all down there for you guys to see. Yeah, anyways, let's get into the video and review this palette. I tried to match my background to make it a little more like, to bring out the vibes of the palette, but I just thought this was so beautiful, so yeah, let's get into it. All right, so I already did my brows. They're kind of going through a situation. I've been shaving the tail off again, and then I've been trying to use a lash serum to get the brow hairs to like actually grow there. It seems to be working okay so far, but you know. Also, Jack and I just got an espresso for each other for Christmas, and it's so worth it. Oh my goodness. Let's open up the palette and see what we think about all of this. Okay. Woo! The sheet just fell out. But when you open it up, like, this is just so fun, and it's so unlike anything that I have or have had in the past. I love that it's more of like, you have a lot more mauves in this than other palettes I've purchased. I love these little swirly, glittery colors. Like, let's see if I bring it forward, you can see it. It's just so pretty, I love it. So I purchased it because I felt like it was just so different than anything I had had, and it's been a while since a palette has like really excited me. So I was like, let's do it. Also, it kind of looks like a dupe for the Huda Beauty, their new Rose Quartz palette. I'll insert a little thing here so you can see what it looks like. But I felt like it was very similar, and this is so much more affordable. Like, the Huda one is almost $70. $70. It's a lot. It's a lot to pay for a palette. Whereas this one I think was like $36, and you get way more colors. Yeah, I'll stop rambling. Let's get into actually using the palette. So I'm gonna prime my eyes using the NARS Matte Complete Concealer because I can't find my MAC one. I usually like the MAC one a lot with my hair, that's so funny. I usually like my MAC one a lot with Morphe shadows, but I wanted to try the NARS one because I haven't used it in a while. And I used to be obsessed with this concealer. Get that inner corner really well too. That's something that's so easy to miss, and you want that area to be nice and bright. It just does so much for you. But I love this concealer. Like, you can wear it. There were times I would just wear this because it just blends in with the skin so seamlessly. I honestly probably need to go buy another pot because it's just that good. I love it. I feel like we'll stay away from like the browns as much as I can because I feel like that's what most people are going to gravitate towards, which would be this side of the palette. Like, that's like perfect for every day. Whereas this side is more of like the colorful, playful side. So I think I'm going to stick more towards this side of the palette because I think we should have fun with it, you know? Okay, so I am going to take the shade Mood and start that as like the transition shade. So I did that, and I like to kind of go into the brow and leave this area as bright as possible. I kind of talked about that in my last video where I did more of like a natural look. I haven't done any colorful makeup looks in a long time, especially without like body painting. It feels like if I'm doing a colorful look, I am doing a body painting look. The next shade I am doing is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this one with the pretty rose on it. And this is just going to deepen that shade. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. These mattes are good so far. I'm impressed. In the past, I reviewed one of Morphe's other palettes. It was, I think it was called the 35C, I believe. And I was so unimpressed with it. Like,
absolutely categorically no.
The color story looked really pretty, but then like when you were using it, it felt like it was so hard to complete a cohesive look with it. And this one, I feel like it's just so much easier. Like you really don't need to reach for any other palette with this. I just think it's so beautiful. I also love these big Morphe palettes because the more shades you use in an eyeshadow look, the more depth it has. The more depth it has was what I was trying to say basically. It just looks better. Okay, so then I'm going to take the shade Orbit, which is right beneath the last shade we used. Take that into the crease, focusing mostly on the outer half. The word I was looking for is dimension. Yes, it adds more dimension. I am going to do something a little different. We're going to take the shade Stardust, which is the dark purple. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Oh my goodness. I love it. Okay. The next shade we're going to use is Bamboo, which is the dark navy blue, and I'm just going to put that on the outer part just because mattes can get patchy if you layer too many on top of each other. So I'm just making sure to use that to deepen the crease and kind of like alleviate any patchiness, which that's my bad. So typically what you can do if you're copying this and want to minimize any patchiness whatsoever, start with that outer corner shade and then do the crease shades, because then like the mattes won't get patchy because there's not as much layering. Since there's quite a bit of layering here, they are getting a little patchy. That is something I've learned that has really changed the makeup game, is for me specifically, is doing that first. By that I mean starting with the outer corner rather than starting with the crease. For this inner area, I'm going to take the shade Bora and stick that on the inner third of the lid. So it's like a little bit of a lighter purple. It's kind of like a halo eye, but not a halo eye, if that makes sense. Oh, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of Lucid Dreams in that same area, just to give us like some really nice like pastel vibes. I'm actually gonna do the mattes on the other eye and come back because my camera is overheating. So I'll see you in a second. So we're back with both of the eyes with the mattes done, and let's move on to our next steps. This is kind of a fun thing I like to do, which might sound kind of weird where you're like, Brooklyn, what? No, but just trust me. Okay, so I'm taking this really cool shade called Quartz. So see how it kind of just like appears and then disappears? So I'm taking that on a fluffy brush, yes, and we are going to put that kind of like at the top of the crease where the brow bone is. And this just adds so much dimension, because sometimes matte can just look kind of flat even when you're using the brightest of colors. And doing just a touch of shimmer, especially where things kind of blend together, like if you have a patchy spot where things aren't blending, adding a bit of shimmer does everything. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Pink Sapphire as well. And it also makes the shadows look like more expensive. Most luxury brands, I worked for a few counters when I worked at Nordstrom, like Dior, Bobbi Brown, Laura Mercier, but especially brands like Dior and Chanel, there's pretty much shimmer in like all the shadows, like just a touch, where like you don't really notice it that much. It makes them blend more seamlessly is what I'm trying to say. I love how it looks now. Like you could really just leave it like this and it's so beautiful. Just like pop on a lash and you're good to go. But I can't just leave it alone like this because that's just not who I am. And there are so many beautiful shimmers. So first of all, let's talk about like the elephant in the room. This Nebula shade. I also love this shade called Breathe. It looks like a very expensive shimmer. I know I keep saying expensive, but it really just looks like that. So let's swatch them. Okay, so Nebula. I mean, I already think that's the winner, but let's swatch Breathe as well. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Those are so beautiful. Okay, Morphe has 100% stepped it up with the shimmers. Okay, we're gonna swatch one more for fun. Let's swatch Ruby, which is funny it's called Ruby because it's purple. Swatch, there's Ruby there. see if it'll focus enough so you can see. It has a little more pink to it. So I'm gonna do Nebula and probably do just a little touch of Breathe on there as well, because I just think it's gonna be beautiful. I prefer shimmers with a finger more than I do with a brush, like a wet brush. Like when you spray the brush, you know? But, oh my goodness. Do you just die? Like, look at that. It's so pretty. I'm obsessed. The quality of this is just incredible. Like, you know what it reminds me of is specifically like the Jaclyn Hill 2 palette quality. Like, they are just so pigmented, and the shimmers are, they just look so much more, they just look so much more high quality. Like the quality is just there. I don't need to just be like, okay, everything is good about this palette, but everything is good about this palette. And I have tried many, many palettes, but I think this is probably Morphe's best palette. And pop it in the inner corner. I love just a matte white in there. I feel like it does so much for the eye. And that's a good white. I'm obsessed. Can you tell? You're like,
yes, Brooklyn, now shut up.
I'm gonna finish the rest of my face because I just wanted it to be about the eyes and the palette, but I will link everything on my face down below. Okay, so we're back. I applied foundation, everything. I'll just tell you what I used because that's just gonna be easier, and also so I can remember when editing this. I always forget, I'm terrible. This Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand, it's like a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, which I have, but this one is in a little bit of a darker shade, so it helps with my tan. And then I used, that was so loud. Then I used the Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. Such a good one. It just looks so smooth on the skin. I always love the result of it. Then I used Throwback. Let me tell you about a Throwback, but I do love this concealer. The Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I think this is the shade 10 or 15 or something like that. And I also used the Bobbi Brown Eye Brightener in Light Bisque 2. They don't make this anymore, but I just wanted to be transparent and let you guys know that I used that just to add like that nice light brightness. And then for contour, I've been loving this. I talked about this in my last video. The Warm Olive Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. And the shade Warm Olive is just perfect for me. It's now that's like my cream contour. I'm obsessed with it. It's so beautiful. For blush, I used the NARS Liquid Blush in Orgasm. And then to set it, I've been obsessed with this. I used the Balm's Argyle blush, and it is like this beautiful, like light but still warm pink. It's just so gorgeous. I love how it looks. It gives you like just like a nice brightened look, but you just look, I don't know, just fresh. I love it. It's so beautiful. For lips, I used, this is so like, anyone that worked at MAC that is watching this is gonna be like, you're so basic. But I used the MAC Whirl lip liner and then the lipstick in Cream Cup. But it's just good, you know? And then to set my under eye and kind of like the center of my face, I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. I used the shade Alabaster in Bobbi Brown's Skin Foundation Powder. I just like that it gives me some extra coverage and really brightens that area. I'm into like a nice bright under eye. I just feel like it does a lot for me, you know? So a lot of these middle shades, I realized, like this one I think could totally be used as a bronzer. Like it'd be a very pigmented bronzer, but I think you could use it as one. And I feel like these two, this one and this one, are definitely highlighters. Like you can use them as highlighters. And then this you could probably use as a blush if you wanted to. It'd just be, you know, maybe for like medium to darker skin tone since it's a like brighter color. But I did want to use the shade Teardrop because I just feel like it's gonna be like a really cool, I don't know, like iridescent kind of shade, and I feel like it's just gonna complement the look well. That's exactly what I wanted. Do you see that? I hope you can see it. That is really pretty. That was exactly what I was wanting. It's like that peachy pink highlighter, but then when you look forward, it like disappears, which I love. I love when it's like almost like a peekaboo highlight is what I'm gonna call it. So let's finish up the under eye really quick. Just take it underneath the eye. I just feel like this helps make the look more cohesive, like it helps the eyeshadow kind of all come together. One super cool thing I got, Kiss PR package, which is so cool. It's so cool, and it's like, it made me kind of emotional seeing it, because when I couldn't afford to buy like super nice lashes or anything, like, but I needed still good quality at a good price, Kiss was the brand that I always went to. And so the fact that they're sending me one, like this package is incredible, but it just makes me so, I don't know, kind of emotional and just happy about it. So yeah, so I'm gonna use, it's their new Day to Day lash. It's really pretty. I feel like they'll complement this look nicely. I don't want too extreme of a lash because I wanted this look to just be very feminine and pretty. Okay, so I have the lashes on and I really love like just how natural they look. This did make it super easy because you can just apply it to the eye. Like for example, I always have an issue with the inner corner sticking to my eye. So having a pen that does that for you, where you can just put it on directly there, makes it super easy. I do think that I'll probably like the black liner best as far as the adhesive goes, especially when you're wearing winged liner, because you can just put it directly on top of that, which makes it super easy. I do like these. The only thing is the band is really thin, so you can kind of see in between my lashes, my real lashes and the fake. One thing that would just fix that is liner. So if you have that issue, just put some liner on. And I think it's perfect for like the everyday girl, especially if you're not used to lashes. I think this style would be really good for you. Okay, now to the end review of the palette and all my thoughts with it. This is a bold claim to make, but I mean it when I say it. And I feel like I don't say this like lightly, but this is by far my favorite palette for Morphe ever. And might be one of just my favorite palettes ever. I love that you have your neutrals, so you can do an everyday look, and I love that you have these fun colors to play with. It's so beautiful and so well done. I love that little highlighter shade. I think it's so pretty. Any makeup lover would love this palette. So if you are debating on getting this, absolutely do. The mattes are incredible. The shimmers are beautiful. The one thing I was gonna say about the shimmers is the shimmer quality reminds me a lot of, it kind of reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury's shimmers, but I do like these a little better because they're a little more high impact. Like you can get more shimmer out of them. Like if that makes sense, within a swatch, like you can really just do one swatch and you're good for honestly both eyes. With the Charlotte one, you kind of have to like pack on a little more, but the style does remind me of that for those of you that are familiar with those. But I'm obsessed. They did such a good job. Like this just feels like such an expensive palette. Feels like it should be more than $36, but it is just beautiful and just perfect. This is 100% Brooklyn Kaye approved. I love it. But yeah, just thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.